There's a reason that the 2 businesses that I've built, and this is, forget about my opinion on stage. I know there's a lot of people here who don't know that much about me. Let me just ground it. There's a reason that I've run 2 businesses in my life. Wine Library and VaynerMedia. This is not information products. This is not a fucking mastermind. This is a retail store that sells fucking wine and an agency that works with Madison Avenue Fortune 500 companies, businesses. One went from $3 to $60 million in revenue in 4 years. Let me just quantify that for you. Wine Library, when it was Shoppers Discount Liquors, did $3 million in revenue on 10% gross profit, which for all you business people at home means that I had $300,000 before expenses. Luckily, Sasha Vaynerchuk didn't pay anybody anything, so there was a couple bucks left over. But I built a business from $3 to $60 million with no fucking money. No raising capital like all these fuckers have been doing for the last 5 years. I took the little money we had and I made every fucking penny work. And I stood on the floor from 7 in the morning to 10 at night, Monday through fucking Sunday for 10 years. I punted. Do you know what it is to punt your fucking 20s? Like, do you know what it feels like when all your friends email you now and say you're so lucky and you have to reply because you're so fucking pissed that's cool, Josh, that I'm lucky, but remember when you went to the Jersey Shore and banged fucking chicks? I worked. And so, Wine Library, $3 to $65 million, $60 million in sales in 5 years, and now VaynerMedia, which I've now personally run for almost 5 years now, and I've grown VaynerMedia from 30 to 600 employees, from $3 to $100 million in revenue, on 17% net profit, real fucking money. AJV gets to take a lot of money home. And so, how does that happen? It happens because my CFO hates my fucking guts. And what do I mean by that? You don't grow a business from 3 to 100 if you're gonna try to maximize profit every 12 fucking months. If you're not making bets at investing, if you're not building brand, if you're not I started 4 major divisions last year. Sampling, a lot of our clients sample, yeah, here's the new chocolate, right? That shit. Live events, like, you know, all my fuckers go to Coachella every year. My whole company fucking shuts down. Those kind of things. Video and paid acceleration. Live events and sampling, dead. I'm announcing that we're shutting down live events next week. Hopefully none of the people paying for the live stream work at VaynerMedia. Dead. Fucking lost $2 million. Bought a site called Lost Letterman, a sports site, because we're doing more media. Dead. Shut it down. Lost $1 million. But video and paid made all that money back and more because I'm on the offense. I'm not trying to maximize because I don't need to buy a fucking boat this year. And I don't need a fucking Lamborghini to put on Instagram. And I don't need a fucking watch because I'm building an actual business and I don't want to retire next year. And so, my punchline to this is, please understand what's really happening here. Let me help you understand it. Eyes and ears are the only thing you should give a fuck about. And wherever they are, matters. Do you think this fucking matters? It matters more than anything in the world. This is the fundamental extension of your life. How many people here in every 24-hour window are always within arm's reach of their phone? Raise your hand. Look at this. Look, front row, raise it. Look. 7, within arm's reach. When you're sleeping, taking a shit, it's there. Guys, I literally am not joking when I tell you this. I'd literally rather somebody in New York City stab me in the stomach and steal my wallet than lose my phone. Now, we can all agree it's important, right? Cool. Now, 54% of every second of attention on this fucking thing is in a social network. You still think it's a fad? My friends, social network is a bullshit term. There is no, what the fuck is social network? Social networks is a slang term for the current state of the internet. Period. 53% of every second, and you got calendars, and you got fucking Angry Birds, and you got words with fucking horseshit, and utilities, it's all here, yet 53% is gobbled up by like 7 or 8 sites. So you don't think that's important? Of course it is. And every one of them is becoming a place where you can reverse engineer that attention and sell something. The problem is, for so many people in this room, it's not as black and white as email and Google AdWords. It's not conversion. It's why you like Facebook, because it gives you that too. That's why I love Facebook. Facebook is so unbelievable. Every time Facebook went down today, I guarantee you tonight, because I have to take a car to fucking LAX and a fucking red eye to Miami. Tonight, I will absolutely buy Facebook stock after the rant I'm about to do, because I do it every time. Here's why Facebook's gonna win. It has attention. Yes, they are vulnerable to the fact that young kids are not going on it. Cool, they took care of that. They bought Instagram, so they're good for another 4 to 7 years. And they tried to buy Snapchat 2 fucking years ago for $3 billion. When 80% of this room hadn't even heard of it yet, unless you had a 14-year-old girl in your life, right? So Zucks understands attention arbitrage. It's why I bought Oculus Rift, because VR is the next internet. Now, VR is 15 years away, and a lot of people in this room are gonna make a lot of mistakes and lose money because they think it's gonna be here sooner, but it's coming. It's coming. And so, when I think about what's really happening there and all the opportunity, what Facebook provides for everybody in this room, if you have not realized that Facebook is right now the birth child of television and direct mail. That's what Facebook is. If you understand how Facebook works today, February 9th, 2016, it is the birth child of television and direct mail, AKA the greatest execution anybody in this room can do, B2B or B2C, is the following. This is where I'm going, straight practicality. I'm not giving you the rah-rah, yay, this is all so cool. Pay the fuck attention, straight practicality. If you understand who you're selling to, 28-year-old women in Iowa who are Red Sox fans, 42 to 47-year-old African-American male who like baseball. 19 to 22-year-old dudes, even though they're not supposed to be on it, I'll show you data, not what your headline says, that there's plenty of 18 to 25-year-olds on Facebook. They may not check it 7,000 times a day, but there's plenty of them on it. And so, if you understand what to do, here's the punchline. Everybody here needs to figure out the most cost-effective way to make a commercial, which means a video, which means you're not confined by the way television is, so you can make a 2, 3. I actually want to make them as long as possible. You'll understand in a minute. If somebody watches my 4-minute and 18-second video all the way through on Facebook, so when I talk about Facebook video, the headline readers here say, oh fuck, but they count every 3-second view as a view. Cool. Yes, they do. But I don't give a fuck, because I have access to the data that shows me that of the 4 million people, 17,000 of them watched all 4 minutes and 18 seconds. And you know what I can do with all 17,000 of them? I can remarket to those motherfuckers with a DR call to action after I've emotionally affected them. And you know what happens? It's a funny thing. They fucking convert. So please, please indulge me and audit yourself and deploy what really separates winning entrepreneurs from non-winning entrepreneurs, which is a very interesting word. It's called self-awareness. Know what you're good at. If you're a hardcore mathematician, great. Keep quanting the fuck out of things. Know yourself. Know what you're good at, reverse engineer yourself, and put yourself and the people that work for you in the best position to succeed. You got somebody charismatic and clever in your office right now? Instead of being mad that they might not be good at details, why don't you give them a phone and put them in charge of putting the Snapchat content out for you? Please eliminate romance. Please eliminate the way you want it to be. I was at a meeting the other day. The guy's the CEO of a $700 million company, and they mainly sell to 13 to 22-year-old females. So we have a meeting, and I do this around Snapchat and Instagram. But because he's a fucking corporate America motherfucker, I give him a huge deck with tons of data. He likes math. We go through the whole thing, and I'm basically trying to convince him that he has to do a hell of a lot less print, because all the 18-year-old girls can't wait to get magazines and go to page 97 and look at the ad. And a hell of a lot less Facebook, which is something we got him to do the last couple years, which was good for a few minutes, and really start deploying a lot more money towards Snapchat and Instagram, because that's where these people live, that's where their attention is, that's where we need to arbitrage against. We go through the whole presentation. He goes, Gary, good stuff, appreciate it. He goes, but I gotta be honest with you, I just don't get Instagram. And I go, that's great, Dick, but Every one of your customers does. And it doesn't matter what you get or what you want it to be. You've got to deploy against the end consumer. Regardless of how you want it, the market is moving, and it's marketing, and it's moving fast. When you look at that age downification, because of the grandma rule, do you know that the fastest growing demo of individuals taking selfies on Instagram right now are 42 to 48-year-old females? Literally cougar selfies dominating. And so this is not how I thought I was gonna roll at 40. I thought I was gonna be fucking dead when I was 20. Like, I thought that was old as shit. We're living much younger lives. If you map the average 42-year-old American female in what she does, what she wears, where she goes out, what she spends her money on, she acts like a 29-year-old American female only 10 years ago. If you're lucky enough, like I am, to sit here right now and you know what your parents were like at the age that you are right now, if you're fortunate enough that you know how old you are and you knew or can remember your parents at your age, you are stunningly younger than them. My clients, Toyota, Pepsi, Dove, the biggest brands in the world that drive my business, right? Our clients have to pay, $60,000 to $70,000 a month for us to do their social media, right? They're biggest brands. We're not looking for local stores. These are companies that are paying me $100,000, $200,000 a month, not only for strategy and account work, but the producing of the content, the paid strategy, real fucking work, the things that they do on TV and other places. They go on the spectrum of branding extremely far, right? They think it's all branding. They don't even know if they're converting. My Mountain Dew client doesn't know if their TV spot during the Super Bowl or that picture on Instagram is really selling all the way through because they don't control 7-Eleven or Albertsons. They don't have the full funnel. A lot of us here do have the full funnel, whether we're e-com or we do our own business. So what happens with us, AKA the companies that I used to talk to back in the early days of the internet, only 7 or 8 years ago, Living Social, Zynga, Groupon, I would talk to them a lot about, you're getting way too addicted to just math because you're playing on conversion, but you're not thinking about lifetime value or brand. And then, as so many of you have probably felt already in your careers, if you're just winning the first result on Google or Google AdWords, guys, the day Google AdWords, just to tell you where I come from, and it's funny, I know I'm bouncing a little bit here. As I went hardcore on social in 9, 10, 11, 12, I would be negative towards Google AdWords and email marketing and banner because all my digital contemporaries were living that, and they would bust my chops, and I would explain to them, it's only because you're catching me in 2012. In 2001 and 2 and 3, the only thing I did talk about was digital 1.0, email, e-com, landing page optimization. Guys, I was doing banner ads in 1996 that were getting 13% click-throughs on certain wine sites. Right? So numbers that are just not real, numbers that you can never replicate. I owned the word wine on Google AdWords the day it came out for 9.5 months at 5 cents a click before anybody bid me up. Right, it's laughable now because it's a fuckload of years later, but at the time, people didn't even know what Google was. I started my YouTube wine show, which is really what brought me to this world, less than a year after YouTube came out. When I would tell people I was doing it, people didn't know what YouTube was. There wasn't a single video on YouTube when I started Wine Library TV that had 1 million views. For the first 1.5 years I did Wine Library TV, nobody fucking watched.